Our beginnings. Halfway around the world from our community, on a little-known island in the Philippines, the Lord spoke to the heart of missionary Art Fretz in March 1987 concerning the need for a Bible-believing church in the Bethlehem area. Because he was willing to respond to that call in faith and prayer, we can now experience the joy of fellowship here tonight. Faith Baptist Church of Bethlehem Township had its beginnings on September 18, 1988, in the basement of Pastor Fretz's home in Steel City. Among those families attending that first service were the Bilheimers, the Harrises, the McKennas, the Solomons, the Youngs, and the Zettelmoyers. On November 27, 1988, the church was officially organized with a charter service. There were 46 charter members, not counting family members too young to join. For Sunday school, Mrs. Hermina Fretz taught all the children in the garage, while Pastor Fretz taught the adults in the basement. Later, the men of the church erected a partition in the garage and curtained it off to provide 2 Sunday school classes. Mrs. Lori Harris taught the 3-year-olds through 2nd graders in one classroom, and Mrs. Fretz taught the 3rd through 6th graders in the other. Mr. Michael Zettelmoyer instructed the teenagers around the Fretz's dining room table upstairs. Mr. Jim Harris assumed the responsibilities for Eager Beavers program for elementary students during the Sunday evening services, and Mr. and Mrs. Bill McKenna initiated the children's prayer time on Wednesday evenings. On December 4th, 1988, Mr. Bill McKenna, Mr. Jim Harris, and Mr. Art Zettelmoyer were elected the first deacons of the church. Mrs. Gail Zettelmoyer was elected treasurer. In the search for a church building, a factory warehouse was located that could possibly be renovated to fit the needs of the church. Members of the church gathered to inspect the building one evening in mid-February 1989 and decided to pursue renting the facility. That was the last time for those gathered to fellowship with our dear brother, Mr. Harold Bilheimer. For the Lord called him home on the following day. Following the funeral, negotiations commenced for obtaining the factory site, but the Lord directed otherwise, and Faith Baptist Church was reduced to praying and searching once again. The following spring found the growing church still meeting in the Fretz's basement and still praying earnestly for a permanent meeting place. One of the first buildings considered had been the old Wilson School building on the corner of Linden and 2nd Streets in Miller Heights. At the time, it was rejected due to the amount of work and financing necessary to make it suitable for occupancy. Though closing all other doors, however, the Lord directed the attention of the church back to that sturdy landmark in April, and negotiations began in earnest. On July 23, 1989, the first baptismal service was joyfully observed. After the Sunday morning service, members of the church and curious onlookers gathered on the bank of the Salkin Creek to watch Pastor Fretz baptize Mrs. Florence Goggle, Mr. and Mrs. Chester Litz, Jacob and Justin Lockard, and Benjamin Pritt. On September 27, 1989, thanks to the sacrificial giving of the church family, the much desired and desperately needed meeting place was purchased. Built in 1917, the schoolhouse was a fortress-like in its construction. Even so, there were stringent code requirements to be met before the occupancy permit could be obtained. The men of the church donated long hours in their time installing new electrical heating system, new electrical wiring, windows, doors, insulation, ceilings, and carpeting, and performing innumerable other tasks. With the help of the Anthony Construction Company, they were finally able to meet all the requirements for occupancy. On Sunday, June 3, 1990, prayers were answered as Faith Baptist Church had its new beginning in the refurbished schoolhouse in Miller Heights. To God be all the glory as we celebrate the 2nd anniversary of the church and the dedication of this edifice tonight.